Today we're going to be choosing my March TBR, but first we're going to be cleaning up this TBR card. My name's Stephanie, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I posted a TBR video. I started doing TBR jar videos for November and December last year, but then I kind of just stopped. And reason for that is I was trying to clear my November and December TBRs in January, and I did get through a few books, but for the majority, there is still some that I just wasn't able to get to. And truly, it just comes down to that I need to learn to DNF. I physically don't have it in me to DNF a book. It's really hard. I know there's nothing wrong with DNFing books, but I just cannot for the life of me do it. I feel really bad. I feel like I need to give the book a shot. I feel like I haven't given it a proper shot if I haven't read the whole thing. And I also just need to know when to let go of books from my TBR. I hold on to them for months and months and months, sometimes years, and I still consider them like I'm currently reading them, but that just doesn't make sense anymore. Today first, I'm going to give this card a refresh. I'm going to cull the books that I've started reading, but I know I'm not going to get to. From now on, it's going to be like books that I've started, whether it be a chapter or 5 chapters, and I just stop and I just don't want to get back to. I'm going to consider that a DNF. That tells me that I'm not ready to read that book. And if I'm going to read it again in the future, I'm going to have to start again from the start anyway. So if I DNF it, I'm just going to take it off the cart, take it off my TBR, and I'm just going to put it back on my shelves behind me. And future me will hopefully be ready for that book at some point. And I think this is really going to help me like keep the pressure off of reading books that I'm not enjoying, because I often start books and feel so much pressure to finish it, but I'm not enjoying it, so I never continue it, but then I don't read anything else because I think I can't start something else if I'm already halfway reading all these books. So I just need to like be ruthless. It's DNF season, I feel. So I'm just going to go through some of the books that I've started that I am going to DNF. This feels liberating, honestly. Okay, so this book, unfortunately, Songs for the Dead and the Living by Sarah M. Soler. I just really struggled getting into this book. Like, there are some beautiful passages in here, and the story itself is really, like, gripping while also being quite harrowing. But I find just, like, the characters are really hard to keep track of. It's not until the first, maybe few chapters where I'm actually able to figure out which each character is. They don't give any descriptors like how old the characters are, who they are in relation to each other. It's not until a few chapters in that they start like discussing that, and it really like took me out of the story. I was like, am I just not intellectual enough to understand what's going on, like to understand who is who? All it would take would just to describe how old someone is and who they are in relation to people. Like it's not that hard, because like there's scenes in the beginning where it's like a bunch of children talking, and then also I think there's older people like adult age talking, but you don't find out who these people are until later on in the story. So I had to actually like go back and read it again with the understanding that I got like later on as to who was who and all that kind of stuff. I just felt like it really took me out of the story, and it's made me scared for the future of this book because I don't want to be that confused. It takes place over time, so the characters change age, they change like circles of people, and like there's a constant shift in the characters. And yeah, I just think like for now it's just going to be a DNF, and I'm going to put it back on my shelf because I really do want to read it at some point. It's been like a year since I started it, so I'm going to have to start it from the beginning again anyway when I start it again. So I'm just going to put it as a DNF for now and pick it up at a later date. The next book I chose for one of my, I think December TBRs, Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. It's really simply, I just didn't get to this book yet, so I think I'm going to still keep it on here. The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. I want to read it, but not yet, not at this stage. There are a lot of like books I'm currently in the middle of that I actually do want to read that I actually don't want to DNF, and I just don't want to start another one. So I'm just going to put this back on the TBR card. Okay, so unfortunately, The Christmas Books by Lucy Score, I never actually ended up getting to. I just wasn't in the mood. I was just reading other stuff. So I'm going to take this cute little cat bookmark out that was just like a holder for a set of stickers I got in New York. but it's so cute. I had to keep it. I'm just going to put this on my shelf as well. So up here that I've started, haven't finished, is Minor Detail. I'm for sure going to be finishing this soon. I just haven't gotten around to it, so I'm going to keep it up there. Origin, I've also started. I'm 30 pages in. I'm going to keep this up here for now, but I'm just going to see. I don't know. I'm really not in the mood for this at the moment, and there's other fantasies that I'm like enjoying way more than this, so I'll just keep it there for now. Oh, and the last one is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I'm for sure going to keep this on there because Sunrise on the Reaping? Sunrise at the Reaping? Sunrise on the Reaping. Whatever this book cover says, by Suzanne Collins. Haymitch's Reaping and Hunger Games book. I'm really interested in seeing how that all goes down, and it would be fucking amazing if they make a movie out of it too, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. And then there's this little poetry book, Exhausted on the Cross. I am going to DNF this for now as well, put it back on my shelf where all my poetry books are, just because I'm not quite like in the headspace of poetry, and I know if it's there I can just grab it. You know, poetry is something too where I feel like it depends on the collection, but some are made to be like binge read, but I feel like it's much nicer to kind of just read over time and read the individual poems slowly. I think that's why I kind of like have kept this on here, and like subconsciously I just haven't reached for it because I've just been thinking of it being like, oh, I need to read through the whole thing. But the thing is, like, it's actually really heavy read. I'm just going to put it back on my shelf with my poetry so that I can reach for it whenever I like. And then there's one other book I'm in the middle of, which I'm so fucking excited about, and it's just like I need to find time to read because it's amazing. It's Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. This book is so good. It's the reason why I don't want to read Origin at the moment. This fantasy world is just like so lovely. If you saw my reading vlog of this that I did like maybe like a year and a half ago, look, I'll link it here, but I can't bring myself to watch it because I feel like it's like a bit cringy to watch, but you're welcome to watch it if you want. In that video I was really worked up about how the book ended and like the last quarter of the book because of some of the plot points that happened. I think like the more I sat with the book, the more I was like, this world was crafted so beautifully and it's such a beautiful world that it kind of like overshadows some of those negative aspects. In terms of like the world and the story in general, it wasn't that big of a deal. I think like it was rushed for sure, but that doesn't like take away from the world building and the characters and things like that. That's more just to do with like pacing towards the end. Jumping back into this world, even though it like takes place in a different season, takes place in a different location, it's still like the same beautiful characters. Anyway, so yeah, keeping that for sure as one that I'm currently reading. Yeah, as I think about it, because I haven't actually started, like I have started reading it, Everything I Know About Love, but I haven't started reading it again. So I'm just gonna put it back on the shelf. And actually while I'm here, I'm just going to take away some that I actually just have no interest in reading whatsoever. I think this one, Come and Get It, like I have heard good things, but I feel like it's very like general fiction coded and I just am not in the mood for that. I don't know, I just feel like I have a lot of the same books on here. I think, you know what, actually, like the truth of the matter is when it comes to romance, I often don't have like the inclination to just read it whenever I want. I go through these periods where I like really feel like reading it. So I'm just going to put this off for now. Same with The Charm Offensive. I'm leaving Crush on here because... should I leave it on here? No. I'm taking Crush off. Even though I've started reading it, I don't see myself reaching for this one anytime soon. Like, I really enjoy the world, but it was getting a bit repetitive and I'm just not in the mood. I'm going to keep on here because I feel like I don't have any other, like, deep fiction kind of vibe books here. This was for sure Academy of Lies, a book that was... very much an impulse buy. Powerless, I'm going to keep... I really want to get to Butcher and Blackbird soon, so leaving that. The Poppy War. It's R.F. Kong, isn't it? I just have to keep her there. A Tempest of Tea, for sure keeping. It's vampires and it is Hafsa Faiza. I have yet to read any of her books, but I really want to. Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I'm just in the mood for like a vibey kind of weird book, and I hope that will deliver. I'm gonna put this aside too. It's another romance. Like I said, I only go through periods where I kind of like feel like romance, so I'm just gonna pick that up when I feel that. Very Easy Death by Simone de Beauvoir. This is one of those reads where I just can't force myself to read. I need to be in the mood because of the topic. So I'm just gonna put it on my main shelves so then I can just reach for it when I am in the mood to like get to it. I'm gonna bring City of Lost Souls up higher. Midnight Bitch. Okay, Midnight Sun. I've recently seen this woman talk about Midnight Sun on YouTube, and the way she talks about it is really like getting me hooked to want to like start it. When I was reading this hunker, it was of course insufferable because Edward is a bit of a whiny little bitch. But what made me want to like go back into it again was this woman was saying Stephanie Meyer could have easily retconned Edward into being like a normalish person, but instead she like doubled down and was like, you think he's creepy for staring at Bella while she sleeps? Yeah, he is. He greases her window so it doesn't creak when he comes in. Like all these little things, like the fact that she was like, yeah, that's actually how he is kind of like respectful. Like she could have changed who he was, but she didn't. That's made me think of this book in a new light, so maybe I'll reread this one. No, I won't do that to myself. Nah, I'll just it's pretty big. So I've read halfway. I'm sure like it'll be fine to read the rest. And Keeping Burn on there. This is like a middle grade book, which I don't really have much of. I do like reading them sometimes. Oh my goodness, look, there's some space here. Wow, that's so nice. Just for the summer, I have actually started reading this and I really like it. I really like Abby Jimenez's writing. It's very like witty. I don't know, just she knows how to write a book. She knows how to like hook you. So I'm going to keep that there, even though I'm reading it on my Kindle up here. Let me have a quick look at my shelves, see if there's anything. I've just really been in the mood to want to read more Mona Awad. I read Bunny and it's amazing and I have so many good things to say about it and how clever the writing is. And I also at the same time understand that like not everyone thinks that, but that's also what I find so interesting about writing is that everyone can have such differing opinions. But yeah, I'm really into wanting to read another Mona Awad. The Ministry of Time, I'm really intrigued about. As soon as I heard the synopsis of this, I just like immediately was like, yep, I absolutely have to read it. But then I've seen a lot of weird reviews on it that they're not super happy with how it kind of turned out. But there was this one review that I read that was 5 stars and it's like someone that I follow on Instagram and I trust her opinion. So I was like, yeah, okay, that's how I expected the book to be. I'm going to put this here. Yeah, so I'm just actually going to leave this as is. I'm just going to put these ones back up here. Perfect. Decided that I don't want to overreach. So I'm just going to choose one from the TBR jar for March because that seems realistic. I'm not going to make myself do something that's not going to be achievable. And look, if I read them all and I read this other book, then great. I can do a better TBR for April. Okay, I've got it. I'm going to shake it up a lot because last time in December when I did it, I actually ended up choosing a lot of the prompts I also chose in November. I don't know why. So let's go. I really hope I haven't picked this one before. Ooh, I like this. It says a horror slash thriller slash mystery novel, which is perfect because I don't have any of those up here that I'm currently reading at the moment. Okay, so we've got Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. Got Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. We've got The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turden and Rouge by Mona Awad. Let's read each of the backs. Immediately, I'm not really feeling this. Not really feeling Last Murder. It's really between these two, Butcher and Blackbird. This writing seems a bit weird, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'm going to choose this because it seems like the most different to the other books that I'm currently reading. It's not really a romance, whereas like this is, I think, primarily romance, and then like the thriller horror aspect is kind of like very secondary. So yeah, the book that I'm going to read is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. Is about this woman who has a 2-year-old and a husband that travels for work. She's really struggling like mentally, but then she starts to transform into what? Who knows? I think a werewolf, but I don't know if it's figuratively or literally. It's 238 pages, so it's not that long. I had started it at another time. I think I read the first couple of pages and it was good, but at the same time, like very deep. You can see that the main character is not treated very well at all by her partner. So I'm going to add that one. So Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Minor Detail, Origin, Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Worlds, Just Like Summer, and Night Bitch are all my March TBR books. I really want to stick to it. Please let me know if you've read any of these books. If you want to see more from me, this is my Instagram where I'm on there pretty regularly. Please subscribe if you liked this video, and also if you want to see more from me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.